Good evening and happy Monday. You have tuned into Flavor Fix Radio Show on WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM The Voice, bringing you the latest on Milwaukee's culinary scene. For those who don't know me, I am your host, Samantha Starr, and journey with me every Monday as I journey through and talk to chefs about the culinary world, the Milwaukee culinary scene, foodie adventures, behind the scenes, in the kitchen, and more. And shout out to the listeners who are tuned in on the radio and on YouTube and WNOV's Facebook Live. Make sure you like, share, and comment. And remember to call us during the show at 414-444-5250. Tonight, I am joined by Alex Hanasaka and of Sap Sap. I got it right. Of Sap Sap and Suk Sayavangsa of Lucky Ginger.
Yep.
Got it right. Hey, I'm excited to talk with these dope gentlemen here with me today, and I'm gonna have Alex kick us off with an intro. Tell us your journey, your background, where you from, all the things.
First, that probably must have been the most difficult name pronunciations on the show, right?
Yeah, so far, yes.
You did a good job, though. So yeah, I'm Alex Hanasaka. I own a food business called Sap Sap. It's a Lao-driven, inspired Southeast Asian food business. We had a restaurant in Racine, and we closed it down last summer. But let me scale back. We started with pop-ups, pop-up dinners in Burlington, Wisconsin. And then we progressed to a restaurant, and then ultimately we decided what was best for us, which is like we're sticking with more pop-ups and scaling back to where we came back from, which were like these pop-ups, and we travel. We just recently purchased a big smoker, so right now we're doing kind of like Southeast Asian barbecue. And the story is always telling what happened in Laos and why the Lao refugees are here, and ultimately like the Lao refugee experience, and sharing that story through food.
I love it. Suk?
Suk. Yep, my name is Suk Sayavongsa. Thank you for not slaughtering my name. It's like a
hey, that's
a common
practice.
thing. Right. It's a common thing growing up in America. But yeah, I'm the owner of Lucky Ginger here in the Third Ward, Milwaukee. Been in business going on 9 years now. Yeah, food wasn't always my first thing, you know. It just kind of came about in my later years. I've been in the printing industry for over 20 years. I think I got to a point where let me just venture off and do something different. But growing up, you know, at home, my parents always cooked at home, so it's always been what I was always around was cooking, and just wanted to create a space like home, you know, so you come to our restaurant, and whatever we have, you know, we're open to share, and just, you know, make you feel welcome.
Yeah. I'd like to learn a little bit more about, you know, I know you talked about family and at home and being in the kitchen, but just going a deeper dive into your passion for the culinary world. Did you have formal training? Are you self-taught? What does that look like? Either of you can.
For myself, I think it was just growing up, you know, being in the kitchen with my parents, you know, family gatherings. We're always in the kitchen together, you know, and just watching and learning, you know. And
what about you? The same?
Yeah, for me, I mean, growing up in a Lao household, it was like all the family participated. I didn't want to learn this stuff, but I was forced to do it. Like I had to peel egg roll wraps. My dad would get like whole cows and pigs because we lived near a farm, and we would literally process this whole cadaver in the backyard. And my uncles, the aunties, everyone, food was always a family affair. And I hated it with a passion because I didn't want to kill no chicken. I didn't want to slit no throat, you know. So like as a kid growing up, I despised it. But as I got older, you know, I just saw the power in what food was and the connection that it had, like the connection food can do, like to bring people together. Because my father was always bringing people to his house, barbecuing and all that. And ultimately, when he passed, that's when I had this like reflection, kind of like seeing the power of food, seeing the power of connection. Like our neighbors didn't speak English, so it's crazy because my dad, our neighbor was an old Vietnam War vet, so they didn't when they didn't talk when they had conversation. They just drank and ate. And seeing that growing up really inspired me to like see the value of food, how important it is, and the connection most importantly. And that's kind of when I bird sap through that, through those memories as a kid, really.
I like that. What were some of your favorite dishes in the kitchen growing up?
Well, you know, egg rolls probably were the one because that was my mom's side hustle. I mean, she worked a factory job, and we would make these every week and sell them to our neighbors and people at work. I loved them and I hated them. I hated them because I was constantly peeling egg roll wraps, and I
Mm,
couldn't stand that stuff. But who doesn't like deep fried food in the Midwest? So
yeah.
those probably my favorite as a kid. But growing up now, like there's so many dishes that that have a story attached to it.
What about you?
For myself, it'd probably be a dish called datsine. Datsine is basically like a hibachi. So you got this hot plate in the
Get
middle,
closer to the mic.
um, and we'll marinate it, whether it be beef, shrimp, you
Hmm.
know, and just cooking it, right in front. Got the butter, just a lot of butter on the griddle.
Yeah, that's good
Mm.
stuff.
And just you could do as lettuce wraps, or you could do spring roll wrappers. So that's always probably one of my favorite dishes growing up.
Nice.
Um,
Love that. So tell me a little bit about your business partners and your kind of your model and what that looks like. I know you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
your journey and pop up, but dive
Mhm.
a little deeper into what you're doing now.
So I learned a lot, right? Like I didn't start with the restaurant world. I started in the manufacturing world. I wanted to mass produce my mom's egg rolls. And
Mm.
then I learned a lot. I worked in this co-packer place in East Troy, Wisconsin called Hometown Sausage Kitchen. I was like, okay, we could get our products done here. And I had this idea like I was gonna be rich. We're gonna start cranking out all our food. But when I delved into the actual business of it, it's not very lucrative. You got to have a lot of capital to really
Hmm.
make some money. Um, we got into Hy-Vees in Madison with our sausage, um, but we were making like 30 cents per pack. So it wasn't even worth our time.
Mm.
But that was a lesson learned. But it was valuable experience growing up or in that field. And then I met the owners of this co-packing place, Hometown Sausage Kitchen, John and Tom.
Hmm.
They were actually old French chefs that said, "Screw the fine dining world. We're gonna go into making artisan product for chefs." But they were also doing dinners, pop-up dinners, and that's kind of when I stepped in and asked if I could do a dinner. So we did our first dinner at Yuppie Hill Farm. It's this egg farm in Burlington, Wisconsin,
Hmm.
and we
Never
did our first pop up, and we sold out. And after that dinner, that's kind of like when Sap started becoming. Everyone was coming all over from Milwaukee, Chicago, and it was crazy. So yeah, this was all before the restaurant. So these pop ups kind of like snowballed into something that I had no idea what it was going to be. Besides, like there was a lot of eyes on it, so I kept doing these pop ups. I kept doing these pop ups over and over and over. And everyone was like, "When you gonna open a restaurant?" And so I decided to open a restaurant in Racine, and we were open for like two years, I'd say.
mind.
And um, I like the old pop up model better because you ain't gotta be there all day. There's no overhead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why they say restaurants are gonna be the toughest thing you do in your life,
Hmm.
and I had to experience it firsthand. But the thing is, there's more to food than just a restaurant.
Right.
And I learned that because I was doing it before the restaurant, and I felt like this was my calling to go back to the game plan, and that's what we're doing with the smoker now. So
You want to jump in?
I'll jump in. I tried to tell him not to open a restaurant, but he didn't want to listen about
you did tell me that,
about
yo.
the work that goes behind it.
Yeah.
But no, for myself, we opened Lucky Ginger. So I initially started a business with two of my friends, and it was just one of those things where we talked about it all the time. One of my buddy, he was a sushi chef, so it's kind of how I got into the restaurant because I would just go hang out with him and
Hmm.
just jump behind the line and just kind of made sushi and whatnot. And um, So then we're just like, you know what, let's just step away from this and do our own thing, because he was working for his brother for a while. Um, so yeah, we finally started an LLC, and then just yeah, just dove into it. You know, not knowing what was gonna happen. We just just
What and what? Yeah. So from diving into it, what were some of those quick things that you learned, or learning
Oof.
lessons or challenges into just taking that risk?
You want to go
just,
first?
just how much everything is. You know, the cost to own a business. You know, just
Yeah.
never
Mhm.
you don't think about these things, but
Right.
when it comes to like food costs, labor costs, um, just the overhead in itself, and just trying to make a
Mhm.
profit.
Mhm.
You're either trying to make a profit, or you're just
Yeah.
trying to make it through the day. And it's a
Yeah.
tough
Absolutely.
industry.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, through it all, I mean, we're still here.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we had challenges.
Right. Right. Right.
COVID, post COVID,
Yep.
just all of that. But just gotta keep grinding.
My thing was like we had so much hype opening the restaurant, so like that's cool and all, but like I thought I was just gonna do really good food, have really good service. But my thing that I had no idea I was gonna be was like kind of like this guidance counselor to staff,
Mm.
right? So staff dealing with staffing issues, dealing with the public, I couldn't even focus on the ambition and creativity behind the food. So it was this constant stress of like dealing with my employees. And I had great employees. Like I'm not even trying to knock them, but like I wasn't used to the overwhelming
Mhm.
leadership role, right? And it gets very overwhelming. But for me, it was like everything Suk said, but dealing with your staff, right? And I had no idea. I didn't even think about how detrimental that was to my mental health at the time. Um, but that really took a big toll on me. Was dealing with people in general,
Mhm.
staff, employees, the media, and at the same time, you got to do really good food. You got to have a good service. It's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a lot to balance.
And this guy's been doing it way longer than me, so I give him a lot of props. I said,
Mhm.
screw it, I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
How
props to
long
you, Sue.
how long have you all known each other?
So we knew I knew Suk through name because the Lao like community in Wisconsin is very small. Um, I'm from Burlington, he's from Milwaukee, and my cousins that own Sweet Basil actually lived in where he grew up, the projects, Deville, right,
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Side,
With my
and
grandma.
yeah.
Okay.
And then another story too is like when Lao people came to Wisconsin, they were put on the north side for the most part. We were one of the very small majority that got put into like the suburban areas. So my family was up in Milwaukee in Meadow Village, and we'd always come back up here every weekend. But that's another story, like the
Mhm.
adaptation of like Lao refugees or Hmong refugees or Cambodian refugees that get put in the hoods on the north side or wherever, and they just acclimate. And I mean, Sue could probably elaborate on this more than me, but that's another story. That's why are all these Lao Hmong people on the north side? Is because the sponsors brought us here. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, when he opened the restaurant, I was like, oh, well, like I'm gonna go try his food, and yeah, we just kind of connected. There was acquaintances, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say we like a little over 10 years.
Mm.
Once he started his sausage company, I was trying to put him on.
Yeah,
And so whatever we could do to help each other out, it was kind of
yeah.
just kind of been our
Suk was a
relationship.
huge help. I mean, it's just like small business owner because we were making sausage and he was carrying it, and he was
Okay.
carrying our beer too, and I was like, that's props, like thank you. But I think that's what small business should be about because like the margins are very slim.
Right.
You do your own promotion, and just the solidarity with restaurant owners or small business in general is super important. And then Suk was definitely one of those people that wanted to help me out.
To that point, what does collaboration look like for you all? What does that mean to you? Or well, how important is it, in this industry?
I Go ahead. So I'm talking too
I,
much.
nah, I think it's really important just to be able to. I feel like a collaboration is like lifting each other up, right?
Mhm.
Because uh, everybody has a different audience, so we're able to put each other on a different platform and
Mhm.
different audience just to bring, just to share that food and just
Mm.
that um just that passion, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to share what you built, um, and that's just really
Yeah.
just
Right.
like I said, again, it's just helping one another out, and
Yeah.
and having a good time at the same time. So
We've done a lot of pop-ups at Lucky Ginger too before the restaurant, and Suk being so kind, we did a few events, and collaboration for me is like, okay, like we're all small businesses, we both have our own networks, let's do an event together so we can cross promote each networks and just blast it over social media. um I love that like we can offer kind of like our following to other restaurants when we go there, and
Mhm.
vice versa, and I
Yeah.
think it's free promotion. You're doing cool shit with guys, I'm sorry, you're doing cool stuff with your friends, and everyone wins at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
that's the way I see it.
What's been one of their most rewarding moments to date?
for myself, I think it was like year 2 of our business, and we legit only have one Korean dish on our menu, and that's the Korean short ribs, and they have like
Is that what you brought today?
that's what we brought today. Yeah, some beef short ribs.
So
And
excited.
so we won the was Shepherd Express best Korean restaurant in Milwaukee, and I kind of
Mhm.
giggled at it because I was like, dude, we have one dish, and you got all these other restaurants that have
Mhm.
um legit
That
Korean
says a lot,
restaurants,
though.
So, but
Mhm.
it was a good feeling, out of the whole city of Milwaukee. We won, I believe it was twice.
Okay.
Yeah, so it
Good,
was,
Yeah,
super good.
that's what's up.
you know,
Mhm.
What the question was,
What's been your most memorable moment to date? We
oh,
still
as
have
far as, yeah,
more to come,
yeah,
but
memorable in the sense of like a wow factor, right? Like,
memorable, rewarding.
okay,
Yeah.
2021, I got nominated like most influential Asian in Wisconsin,
Hmm.
and for me, I feel like I've always thought like I was this degenerate, like rebellious dude, and I won this award, and I don't know how. Basically, it was just us giving free food to the community, and that kind of like we spearheaded like with Caitlin too. Like during
Mhm.
COVID, everyone was
Yeah.
just like, okay, what do we do? Like, so we were just, I mean, we were just helping people out with giving them free food, bringing people in the neighborhoods to work for a restaurant and us. But that was shocking. I mean, that was very humbling at the time because I never expected that.
Yeah.
You know.
So deserving.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah. So I want to
I'll
talk.
take it.
I want to shift a little bit into culinary and culture and culinary trends. Tell me a little bit about the insight into traditional flavors and ingredients that define Lao cuisine.
I think what it really comes down to is just the labor of love that goes into it.
Hmm.
The amount of different spices. So it's not just salt and pepper, right? You got
Right.
it's just numerous
Hmm.
ingredients. I said being in the kitchen with my parents and
Yeah.
my aunts and everybody, and there's no measuring spoon.
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
it's just yeah, you're just
Just winging
yeah, just winging it.
it.
Um, but yeah, that's just kind of my take on it.
Any flavor combinations come to mind for you?
For me, it's like we're known for fish sauce, right? So it's like this really stank. Like if you smell it on its own, you
Really
don't want
stank.
to smell it on its own
Yeah.
if you have a very like weak stomach. But the crazy thing about fish sauce is it goes so well with other foods. Like you might
Mhm.
not even know what's in there sometimes. It's essentially our salt. But as far as flavor wise, lemongrass, makrut lime leaf, lime juice, very spicy,
Mhm.
I hate the word earthy, but it's very a lot of like stuff that grows from the earth. Very healthy too.
Yeah. Like I said, ginger, garlic. So
Yeah.
a lot
What
of
are some traditional Laotian dishes that are you would tell someone that's a must try?
I think papaya salad's always like
Yeah.
like a
And
default.
break it down for
So
us.
papaya salad for well, it's shit. Go ahead.
Papaya salad is just
There's a
like
reason. Well, there's a reason why we don't. Well, you don't do the papaya salad.
I don't do papaya
Okay,
salad.
so like yeah, so we have the same like ideology. Like if we serve like real traditional Lao food, we'd be out of business, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, for me, especially in Racine, I'm not saying he'd be out of business because he's obviously successful, but there's other places to get papaya salad, right?
Okay,
And that's just what I don't do it because again, we were already seeing no one's gonna touch that stuff.
Well, tell me what's on your menu.
But my menu is pretty. So the way we came up with our menu is just a little bit of stuff from different places that we like. I like growing up, So I love Vietnamese food.
Me too.
Just the culture, just the food, just so much flavor. So for us, it's just, I feel like it's a basic menu. I think it was just a basic menu just to get our foot in the door in the industry, especially in the third ward. We didn't want to scare off too many people with the padak, like the fish, like the fish sauce, and just all this.
Padak, bro.
Oh yeah.
So padak is like a fermented like fish sauce. It just marinates in for months.
So the fish sauce people are used to, that's like a filtered one.
Okay.
Right. So padak is a super concentrated fish sauce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where like there's fish heads in there still, and you see
Oh,
it and
okay.
use the juice. But it's an old technique used. But yes. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't, like, if you ferment it right, it does not smell fishy. Like there's a process and a science behind it.
Okay.
But it does sound nasty.
But I said my great aunt, growing up in a ville, her basement, she had buckets. Cause my great uncle, he was a fisherman, so he would go fishing, and they just, it's just like salt. It's just
it's salt and fish and thyme basically, and that was like our moonshine. Like we would he's go ahead to your point. They would sell buckets of this fermented fish in America.
Yeah. But yeah, so our menu is like it's non-traditional, right?
Right.
And like I said, you got to kind of cater to
Which
the
I like.
area, so which is fine. But I think like I was talking to one of my my buddies who works with me, and I was like, hey, dude, you need to bring some stuff like, like let's do something like a home cook, like one day out of the week. We're gonna start rolling out some more traditional dishes from home and just kind of introduce it slowly, into our restaurant, and just add that little extra flavor.
Love that. Well, we're going to come back and continue to talk about some of that culture right after this break.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. Offers all-day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kickback with R&B Karaoke Thursday beginning at 7 p.m., followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
Lutheran Neighborhood Schools would like to invite you to an interest meeting. This will be an opportunity to learn about the school, get your questions answered, and discuss important issues regarding Bring the School to the SOS Center. Join them Thursday, February 29th at 6 p.m. at the SOS Center, 4620 West North Avenue. Can't wait to learn about the school? Call 414-292-0740 or visit mylns.org.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
When it comes to graphic design and printing services, nothing is more important than details. At Great Impressions Graphic and Printing, their quick turnaround, competitive prices, and superior customer service have made them the #1 printer in Milwaukee for 20 years. High-quality custom funeral programs and memorial items, business cards and letterhead, T-shirts, banners of all sizes, and much more. Great Impressions guarantees their work will exceed your expectations, and their prices are competitive. Stop in or call Great Impressions for your next project today at 414-536-7646 or visit greatimpress.com.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Hello, this is Michelle Pitts of the New Pitts Mortuary. Tune in daily to our morning gospel hour, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 a.m. I am personally inviting you to join us for an hour of power, as my dad would say. And most importantly, remember us, the New Pitts Mortuary, in your time of need. We can be reached at 414-447-6000, the New Pitts Mortuary.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we are back on Flavor Fix with WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM, The Voice. I am joined today by Alex Hanasaka of SAP and Suk Sayavangza, sorry. I got it right the first time, of Lucky Ginger. And we've been talking all things Laotian cuisine, culture, business, entrepreneurship, and all the things. So we're going to pick back up on our conversation around culture. And I want to learn a little bit about how Laotian cuisine has evolved or adapted over time. Either of you want to dive in with that?
I'll go first. No, so like for us, like I said, we're trying to cater to everybody's like needs, right, or their flavors and whatnot. So for us being where we are, we had to like take certain stuff off of our dishes, just because allergies or everybody's fear of MSG and stuff like that. So I don't think it evolved the right way, but I think now that we are there, or now that we are here, I feel like I need to bring it back, go more the traditional route and add fish sauce to dishes and MSG to certain dishes, and just really bring the traditional flavors, or not flavors, but like the traditional ingredients into like the restaurant side of things. I know Viengcha Noodles on 35th and National, they've been around forever, and I think they're like, sorry, I just want to say like, sorry, this is who we are, this is what it is, and they
nothing wrong with that.
and they stuck to their guns,
Yeah.
but again, they're in a different area of Milwaukee, and you want that home cooked Lao food, that's the place to go, and then you got Asian International market right across the street. I mean, that's where we get our our products from, and so so I mean, as we grow as a business, I think bringing those flavors into our restaurant is going to be our goal, and so it's like revolving back into it, instead of evolving. We're just going to revolve back into
how it used to be,
how it should be, so like, so they know who we are as Lucky Ginger, but let's give them what we were as we grew up,
MSG is just a totally different entire podcast, because I use it in everything, and a lot of people use it and they're not even aware of it, right? And again, that's something totally different, and I won't go down the rabbit hole with that. But again, like opening a business, you gotta look at your demographic. Like, what can you do? What can you not do? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to make money, right? It's a business. My thing with Lao food was, how do I explain what happened in Laos? We were the most bombed country per capita in the world during the Vietnam War, and there was a genocide in neighboring Cambodia at the same time. No one knows about that story, right? And my thing was like, how do we tell that story through food? Um, I made this chicken sandwich because who doesn't like chicken sandwiches? And I would get hate from my own people saying like that's not even traditional. And my thing is like, if that chicken sandwich could get someone to hear what happened in Laos and why Lao refugees are here, I that was my goal. It wasn't about I have to serve traditional dishes my grandparents made. It's like what medium could bring like outsiders in to learn about our history and why we're here. That was my goal. And yeah, if a chicken sandwich could have people learn more about what happened in Laos, I feel like I've done my job, And then we could introduce like the hardcore stuff, the traditional stuff after that. But the evolution of Lao food, I think everyone knows Thai food, right? I feel like Thai people without a history class take a lot of credit for their food. And in the day, there's this region in northeast Thailand called Thai Isan, and that was the Lao kingdom before the Thais took over. So yeah, again, like you see these Lao restaurants opening um, with traditional Lao food, traditional Lao owners, but they have to say Thai food just to get people in the doors. And they always have like this off menu called like the Lao menu or whatever. And I feel like by me and Sook, like our generation, by doing what we do and doing our traditional foods and telling our stories, it gives like the younger generation more hope, like to be more proud of your culture. And we don't have to hide under the flagship of ties, really. Nothing against the ties, but like, we've always been under them in as far as the culinary scene. And again, they take a lot of credit for our dishes, lap, somtam, papaya salad, like the list go on. And I get it, like they have a different rendition of it, different styles of it, but like I think history is very important, and I'm all about visibility, right?
Yeah.
Like let's tell what really happened and give props to where it's due, and that's where I'm so vocal about Lao culture. It's not to like feel like we're better than anyone, but it's like we had no visibility, and who's gonna do that unless I make an attempt to, right?
So, how often have either of you created spaces where you are able to tell that story or share that journey with your diners, or
I'm a
even
s-
through an event? Or
I'm a social media whore with that, so it's
Okay.
like I'm always talking about it, right? Like
Okay.
loud this, loud that.
I see it
And
too.
it comes off like very like arrogant and like pretentious or whatnot, but like I feel like that's my identity, right? And that's what got me to the dance. The stories of our ancestors, the food of our ancestors got us here, where we can remind Americans, y'all bombed the hell out of our country, and that's why we're here. And again, it goes back to that food. Like that food opens up that conversation, and that's how powerful food is for me. It's like it opens Pandora's box to tell these stories.
Yeah. Anything you want to add,
Well,
Sue?
no, for myself, I've been like low key. Like I said, this is my first podcast, my first ever, like to be vocal. About what we do and how we got here. I think it was just the pressure of failure, right? Like, and so I didn't build a business to fail. You got to do what you do to succeed, and so that's why I stayed low key. But now, like I said, it's been 9 years, and I need to get to voice, put a voice, in front of the business, and try to attract, more people in the see what we built and what we created, and then and so we just have such a good following and loyal, customers. And I don't even want to say customers, because everybody that comes through our door, we just become, a family, and that's like the biggest thing with me opening up a restaurant. I want people to come in and just, it's a non-traditional restaurant, right? So you walk past Luggage Inn, you're not thinking that's an Asian restaurant. You're thinking that's like an Irish bar.
Right.
But once people look at the menu, they're like, oh, okay, they'll give it a try. And
Well, and that's another thing like that I don't like is just because we're loud, just because like we do loud food in restaurants, they think we should just do loud food, right? Like
Mhm.
I hate that like stereotype just because I like to cook other stuff, you know. I like
Right.
to eat other stuff, and it's like, can we be chefs too? Besides
Yeah.
just being like loud cooks that open a restaurant.
Hmm.
And that was my whole thing was like, okay, like we have a small like box that we're checked in at. We have a small window to be creative, but they want our traditional food, and I get that. But that's why the Vientiane's there. Like, go there
Hmm.
and grab some like papaya salad.
Hmm.
Come here and try his creation of his interpretation on this dish. And again, like I don't like feeling boxed into a hole that I have to cook just Lao food or Southeast Asian
Hmm.
food. Um, yeah, I think that's why me and Suk are very similar in that sense. Like we don't. These are our takes on certain dishes. Like he does
Right.
Korean dishes. You know, I do fried rice, like smoked brisket fried rice. Like that's not
Mhm.
traditional, but it's
Hmm.
delicious.
It is.
So
To that point, have either of you experienced, and fusion has been a big topic, and it's Black History Month, so I want to ask, have you done any fusion dinners with your Lao cuisine and soul food or anything like that?
I haven't had a chance. I know Jason from Heaven's Table. He's such a big supporter. You
Mm-hmm.
know, on
Jason's a
trying
man.
to,
Mm-hmm.
He's my
uh,
favorite chef.
yeah.
I love that.
And so I feel like he's always reaching out, and like I'll bump into him, or we'll shoot each other text messages to see how things are going. And I haven't had the time or the
Mm.
chance to do a collaboration with Jason, but I know Alex has the opportunity, and like I said, I just
Yeah, we did one with Jason probably 3 4 years back with at Fine and Dandy
Oh yeah,
through
I was
through
at that
what was
one.
that called again? It was called
It was uh
um
it was with the
Adrian
author
Miller was
Adrian
there.
Miller.
Yep, he came
Yeah.
through, and you know
Or
Tariq with his wild
yeah.
ideas. He for some reason he thought let's bring a loud dude in. I'm like okay, if I'm gonna get paid for it, we're gonna do it. And plus, like Jason was my good friend, you know,
Hmm.
and we like did this whole soul food meets loud food. So we like did this thing called this. He smoked his pork. We rolled in the egg roll. We did brisket fried rice. Um, Recently I just did this fusion event with my partner Nicole Acosta. It was called we did a homage to Nola in our travels there.
Mm.
And you know, Nola, it's just a melting pot of Creole, like a lot of African, a lot of French, a
Hmm.
lot, and now there's a lot of big Vietnamese influence there. And that was kind of like, you know, I feel like if you love cooking, you can cook whatever the hell you want, you know, just make it
Exactly.
delicious. So but yeah, I love fusion food. And I think that's what this country's about. Is like we pull
Hmm.
from each other's cultures and make something delicious.
Yeah. So, do you generally, I know sourcing authentic ingredients is, its own trouble, not trouble, but you can't get everything here. But for the things that you can, where can the everyday home cooks, find some of those spices and things?
I said my first go to would be Asian International Market on 34th and National. You know,
Yeah.
uh they have what you need.
Yeah.
You know, um,
I hear really good things about.
yeah, and then, yeah, if you want to grab papaya salad, I think the moms
Mhm.
there they throw down, and it's good. I mean, the spice, you go from zero to like
Right.
I regret ordering the spiciest papaya salad there, but so that's a place, and there's a few other stores around the area. Otherwise, there's always Amazon.
Yeah. I know. Have you shared any recipes during your? I know you do a little bit more events than soup, but have you
Yeah.
shared any of your favorite recipes publicly?
Uh, it's funny you say that because I just got probably like a month ago Kevin Mizuyaki. They're doing a Milwaukee cookbook, and
Mhm.
we were part of that. So I put two recipes in there, one lap and one jiaosum,
Mhm.
and it hasn't came out yet, but I'm really honored to be part of that because the chefs in there are amazing, and it was just an honor to be part of that. But yeah, our recipes will be in that cookbook when it comes out.
Love it.
Yep.
So pop-up dinners. Have you explored pop-up dinners outside of Wisconsin? Have you done anything fun in different cities?
We've done Wisconsin only, but we have been to Madison, Milwaukee, Racine, but mostly primarily those areas,
Mm-hmm.
Burlington. But with the smoker, like our whole like idea is to get to like these different breweries and bring our smoker there and have beer proceeds and food proceeds go to this nonprofit we help out called We Help War Victims. So it's like everyone's like doing really good work. Everyone's trying to help a good cause in Wausau, Wisconsin. This nonprofit goes back to Laos every year to remove bombs, and we've been a huge supporter of theirs. And that's why that whole social impact. Like, why is SAP giving free food? Like, why is SAP donating? It's to this organization because he's this old white male hick dude from Wausau, Wisconsin that was a principal. Then he saw this influx of he saw this influx of like Lao Hmong people in Wausau, and he decided to help. And I learned about this story through this documentary to find out he's in Wausau, Wisconsin. So a lot of our work evolves around him and what he does in Laos. So we donate a lot of money to him. We just did this event at Amorphic Brewing in River West, and I think we raised over $400 for his, or Amorphic did, in beer sales for his nonprofit. So
As for myself, doing pop up, no, that's like it's tough enough for myself to.
there's a reason why he's more successful than me. He's
No, it's
actually
not even-
focusing on his business.
Everyone has a different
avenue,
lane and
yeah.
avenue. Niche,
So like for
yeah.
us, instead of being a brick and mortar, we've got invitations to do stuff, but like I don't have the manpower,
Mhm.
to step away from, our business itself. And someday, it'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a goal.
No pressure. at all.
Right. But
To that
that's it.
point, tell me a little bit more about your staff and your team and how you all engage with each other and keep the business going and running.
For me, I always try to create an environment that they don't feel like they're coming to work. Right.
Mhm.
That's like the biggest thing. I don't want them to call in sick. I want them just like, I'm just going to go throughout my day, and this is just a stop. It's like going to the gym, or
Mhm.
just come in. It's just routine.
Right.
But yeah, just definitely creating environments, and I feel like my staff, we like to have a good time.
Right.
You're there. I don't know, it could be 8 to 10 hours.
Mhm.
And you just want them to feel comfortable.
Mhm.
And just yeah. We like to people watch. We're on Water Street. So,
Oh yeah, that's great people watching.
So a lot of people watching. We got great neighbors too.
Mhm.
And so, and again, our customers that become family, they come in and everybody's just hanging out. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing, is just to have a place to hang out. You could come by yourself. You can come with a group of people. And the staff, like our staff is friendly. That's probably one of like my biggest compliments are,
Mhm.
the staff is friendly.
And how large is your team?
I have a team of 20.
Okay.
So, some are full time, some are part time.
Okay.
And being in the service industry, my team, they work at Lucky Ginger, they work at like some of the clubs downtown, they work
Mhm.
at some of the bars, so um they I always look up to them because they're out there,
I love that.
they're hustling, and
Yeah.
I encourage them to do what they can, but don't burn themselves out.
Absolutely.
Um,
And you have a business partner, right? Or did you used to? Or?
I used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I used to have 2 business partners in the beginning.
Okay.
But they've since grown. We all went in
Oh
different
yeah.
directions.
Yeah.
So one of the guys is over at Sticky Rice on
Mhm.
Brady Street, and then one of my other partners, he's a sous chef over at Pfizer.
Okay.
So he's, I feel like that was more his passion,
Yeah.
sports, music, and food all in one
Mhm.
place, and so he's able to do that. And so yeah, we just all grew up, and so we started together. Everybody's still in the food industry,
Yeah.
the service industry. So, but
Okay.
yeah.
What does that look like for you? I know you have a different model, but what does your team and staff
So
look like?
one, the restaurant was very humbling to me and showed me my weaknesses,
Mhm.
and one of them was not being a good leader. So I envy what Souk and like all these chefs are doing because like they're day in day out with that. Me, I couldn't take it personally. Like,
Okay.
so I had to find a model that works for me, right? Not the day to day grind.
Mhm.
I'm more of a creator and networker versus like a systematic like leader, right? And I was never good at that. But my staff right now, it's like we you know that term, put the aces in their places, right? We find who's good at what, who likes doing this, because like if
That's
you have someone,
important.
yeah,
That's
if you have someone
important.
come to work grumpy, like you're not gonna get a good product, right?
Right.
So my thing is like, okay, let's call up our closest friends that want to do this and are actually good at it. But as like a consistent staff, I don't have that right now. But we're trying to formulate a team right now that works around our model right now.
Mm,
So
that's important. Tell me a little bit about how you all bring your family into the kitchen. Your families, I should say.
you don't want to allow mom in the kitchen, do you?
No, I get nervous when my mom walks to the restaurant. She's always looking. But no, I show my kids how to cook at home. And they're in the kitchen. They just
How old are
again.
your kids?
So I have a 13, a 12, a 5, and a 18-month.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I have
busy.
I'm busy. I'm a busy person. So but yeah, they'll come to the restaurant too, and they'll
Mhm.
they enjoy seeing how everything works. I don't think they fully understand, like, hey, my dad has a business, has a
Mhm.
restaurant. I think they
Yeah.
just see this building they walk into, and they
Mhm.
get food. They'll ask one of the cooks, they can get some fried rice, and they're like, all right, here you go. It's done.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think they enjoy the flavors. So my kids are half Mexican and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So they got some flavor.
Yeah.
So um, and they're particular on stuff too.
What are
So
some of the favorites that I guess the older kids like to eat or make?
they're starting to we made like sushi one day at home, and they just enjoyed like the whole process.
Mhm.
Because me be like helping out in the sushi restaurant before, I was like, all right, yeah, we could do it.
Mhm.
And now that as they're getting older, they're getting away from the typical, pizza, burgers and stuff. So we're introducing them to other stuff, yeah, our daughter's like, oh my gosh, I love drunken noodles, which is the other dish I brought over.
That's my
Um,
favorite.
yeah,
Mhm.
and so their palate's starting to change, you know. Um, yeah, same with the younger ones. We actually live next door to my parents, and they always have like sticky rice, and so like
Mhm.
I'll walk over and grab sticky rice, bring it back over, and they'll just eat it with like some soy sauce and some fried chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's like our favorite combo. I ordered like JJ's
Mhm.
chicken wings, and we'll have it like sticky
And
rice.
sticky rice with
Yeah,
it.
sticky rice, and
Same thing.
yeah. And so that's like our go-to for lunch sometimes. And but yeah,
What about you, Alex?
Uh,
Your son, what is
man, he loves
how old
sticky.
is he?
He's 11 right now,
Okay.
but he loves pho. He likes the noodle dishes. But case in point, sticky rice is like every kid from like being a toddler to an adult. Like they like it when they're a kid and they like it when they're older. But he loves sticky rice and like barbecue meats, right? So
Mhm.
sticky rice is kind of like our daily bread
Mhm.
that we eat with everything, and it's such a neutral flavor, but it's like delicious. So
Right. Does
mm.
he like to cook or experiment or
uh he's a jack of all trades, I think. He wants to do everything, but like, end of the day, he likes to eat more than he likes to cook. He likes to dabble, but real cooking is like you're there for like 4 hours and like
Yeah.
chopping stuff, and he's
Mhm.
not with that at all.
That's funny you say that because when I was younger and growing up, I did not really like being in the kitchen,
Mhm.
but I found my love for cooking probably when I got to college. And since then, I've enjoyed cooking. It's really a stress reliever
Mhm.
for me. But people are always shocked when I say I didn't really like helping on holidays in the kitchen or
Right.
anything. Wanted to be in my room. Yeah. But no, that makes sense. I want to backtrack a little bit to the foodie adventure conversation, what have been some of the most memorable culinary experiences you've had while traveling?
As far as like eating at a
Personally,
specific,
eating, yeah.
one of my biggest memorable moments, I say, is when Wisconsin Foodie went down to Racine and did a whole episode on us. It was our we did a Lao barbecue every year, and when the producer Arthur and Luke, the host, asked if we wanted to be part of it, I was like, okay, like cool, let's do it. We fed 100 people. It was chaos. My mother was there. I almost started breaking down, broke down crying because she was there. And yeah, it was just a bunch of emotions because like finally our food is getting visibility. For me, that was like a very special moment just to be able to be on PBS and live television.
What about you, Sue?
For me, I think like I love Chicago. Chicago, like big city, an hour away, and like the food, the restaurants. Yeah, like no matter if you want, you got Chinatown, you got like all these different pockets of the city. You got your barbecues.
Dare to share any favorites?
Oof.
I always like to get people with this one.
That's a tough one.
What about you?
It's definitely a tough one.
My favorite foodie city on earth is New Orleans. Have you guys been there?
Yes, multiple times. I love it.
My girlfriend Nicole, we've been there for the past 2 years, and it's everywhere you go is delicious, and you feel like you're eating some really comfort soul food, right? Like it comes from all regions and parts of the city. And when they say a city has soul, like New Orleans is a city with soul on steroids, and you feel like you're just transplanted to this special place in America, and I love it. That's my favorite foodie city.
It's one of my top favorites too.
I feel like Nashville's another one.
Nashville's good.
Yeah, Nashville has like different. They it's different stuff. You definitely check out Nashville. Between like the cocktails and like the food.
Oh yeah, definitely good cocktails there.
Yeah. So I think those are definitely inspiring like cities for myself. Especially like so for us, we have like a full bar. Like a lot of your traditional mom and pop Asian restaurants don't have a full bar. So when I used to travel a lot, we would like the craft cocktails were just like what got me, and so I was like, all right, when I get back, I want to be able to put something together like this, So we have a team that makes some amazing drinks, and they're always picking brains.
What are some of the crowd favorites?
And ours is like our lychee martinis. I think that goes quick.
And tell us what goes into, or what's in the drink.
Oh, see,
you don't know.
I don't even know. Like, I'll be honest. Anybody asks me to see me behind the bar, I was usually getting a shot or a beer. I'm not making any cocktails.
That's
not who I am.
yeah.
So yeah, don't let the bar team, the bartenders, they definitely put some stuff together, which is fun. And I'm always on Instagram, and I always see stuff too. I'll send them recipes, and they'll make it. And yeah.
Have you experimented with cocktails or drinks?
We did like this lychee margarita, this Paloma. I'm not good at mixing drinks because I just like alcohol. That's not a good thing, but like I leave it up to the experts.
Yeah.
I can appreciate a good drink, but I can't make one. Right?
Yeah. I love it. What are some of your, I guess, most asked about or most ordered dishes at the restaurant?
For us, probably looking at like my reports, our drunken noodles is probably like our top dish. The amount
those are good. Yes.
The amount that we go through is insane. Drunken noodles fuzz like our. I said, being friends with a lot of service industry people, Monday mornings, everybody's grabbing a bowl of pho, just trying to get that recovery, just to get the week started. What else? Dumplings go. Our egg rolls. So our menu is pretty simple. It's not like a 10-page menu. So it's just direct.
It is. It's easy. Yeah.
It's simple.
I enjoy the drunken noodles. I enjoy the barbecue salmon with the pineapple fried rice.
Yeah. I don't even know who came up with that. Also,
that was one of my girlfriends actually.
Yeah, I was like, who ordered this? And then sure enough, and then
then
made
it
for
turned
one
into
person,
something,
yeah,
and now
then-
everybody's ordering it.
Yep.
It's so good.
It's like one of those off the menu items. We're like,
Mhm.
all right, we'll make it. I don't know how. See, you don't even know.
What
But-
about you? What are some of your popular items or most?
You know, I think one of our biggest ones is the beef jerky that we make. It's such a pain in the ass to make though. So like,
Tell us about that process.
yeah. So the long story is, our parents used to dehydrate the meat on like in the sun. So when you go see beef jerky, sometimes at lower tide restaurants, they say sun-dried jerky or sun-dried beef. But with technology, like there's dehydrators now. But the process is you marinate the meat, you dehydrate it. You don't want to overdo it though, because like there's a finish to it. And the finish to it is we take the jerky, then we flash fry it. So it gets crispy and all that sugar caramelizes on it. It's like candy, like a meat candy essentially,
Yeah.
right? And you eat it with sticky rice. So that would be one of the top favorites. That and our smoked brisket fried rice, the fried chicken sandwich. People love that too. I think it's more appealing than like they like it because like it's this big sandwich. I'm like, holy crap, what is that? But yeah, those are probably our top 3 sellers.
Those sound phenomenal. I think I've had the beef fried rice before, and I think during the pandemic, what were you doing for carry out? It was.
Yeah,
Was it a noodle?
We were doing pho. We call them
you did
fuckets. Yeah, and we were doing grilled skirt steak with sticky rice. We were changing the menu a lot though, so
Yeah.
like it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back on Flavor Fix WNOV 860 106.5 FM, The Voice.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
Heaven's Table Catering and Barbecue, 2238 North Barnwell Avenue. You can call for delivery or stop by for a taste of heaven. Whether brunch, lunch, dinner, or supper. For juicy, tender smoked briskets, ribs, pulled pork, chicken, or a variety of sausages. 414-732-7109. You can carry out by the pounds for your church, office, party, event, or for the entire family. Now that's not all. Heaven's Table Barbecue will cater your event up to 500 or more. You see, Heaven's Table Catering and Barbecue recipes originate from the 4th generation, inspired by that down-home Southern family cooking. Now, don't forget their Friday and Saturday specials, smoked salmon and sides on Friday, and Saturday's delicious Texas cut beef ribs. Heaven's Table Catering and Barbecue, 2238 North Barwell Avenue at 414-732-7109. 414-732-7109 for a taste of heaven.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. Offers all-day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kick back with R&B karaoke Thursday beginning at 7 p.m., followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Come savor the flavors of Pepper Pot Jamaican cuisine, located at 2215 North MLK Drive. Dive into our lunch menu packed with mouth-watering starters like our famous Pepper Pot jerk rolls, refreshing salads, and signature rice bowls, bursting with Caribbean flair. But the fun doesn't stop there. Join us for our happy hour from 5 until 8 p.m. every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, featuring irresistible food and drink specials. Don't miss out on the ultimate Jamaican dining experience at Pepper Pot, where you come hungry and you leave happy. For more information, please call 414-509-5206.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Cherie, and we're the hosts of Respectful Disagreements, where we can't agree on anything.
A show where a conservative black male and a liberal black woman explore and discuss politics, social issues, and current events from their different perspectives.
Through our conversations, we hope to shed light on reasons why we hold our beliefs, how we navigate our differences, and what we have in common despite our opposing views.
We want listeners to engage and be entertained with lively but respectful discussions between individuals with different viewpoints.
So join us every week on Mondays at 7 p.m. as we dive into the topics that matter to us most, and hopefully to you too.
Thanks for tuning in to
Respectful Disagreements.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we are back, and we have some snacks. Hey, Sook, you want to tell us what you brought today?
So today I brought our Korean short ribs. Again, this is award-winning, like Milwaukee award-winning.
What makes it award-winning?
Just the flavor, I guess. I mean, people love it, you know.
Tell us a little bit about the flavor.
It's sweet, you know. It's sweet. Yeah, the smokiness to it, a little bit of spice. Yeah, it just sits in this marinade. It just takes a bath in this marinade for like days, you know. So we just throw it on the grill, just get everything caramelizes. And again, it's one of those things. Like I said, we can barbecue at at the house. Somebody's throwing Korean short ribs on a grill, you know. But now there's so many Korean barbecue spots popping up everywhere as well, you know. So you can see, like I said, the progression over the last couple of years with Asian food.
Right.
And yeah, my chef came up with this when it first opened, and yeah, it's been a hit. You know, we get our meats from Ray's Butcher Shop on Loomis, you know. So
yeah,
we started off with like just maybe 10 pounds of short ribs. It would last us like a little over a week and a half.
Okay.
But now we're doing like 20 pounds a week.
Wow.
Short ribs, you know. So I'm
high demand.
Yeah. So it goes by quick, you know.
Tell us about what else you have on that plate with the short ribs.
Short ribs, you know, we got over easy egg with the rice, a little togarashi, a little Japanese spice, you know, on the egg just to add a little flavor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for the folks who aren't familiar with the egg and how that connects, you want to share.
It just melts all together. You get the egg yolk over the rice. You know,
yeah, it's good. Like, it's a good combination.
It's just a thing, you know. Even my son, he'll ask for like egg yolk with his noodles, his, instant noodles. Like we always make instant noodle at home, and he'll like, can I get some egg yolk in there? I'm like, it just makes it just creamy.
Yeah,
you know, add that extra protein in a dish, and it just changes up the flavor profile a little bit.
So what's your, I guess, cook process for the short ribs? Like, is there a marinating process step that goes into it?
At least it has to marinate at least 24 hours.
Okay.
You know, because then like you just got the sugars and everything's just breaking down the meat, just tenderizing everything, and then so just on the grill, maybe 5 to 6 minutes aside, and you're good to go. Or so you kind of watch. I the way I look at it when I'm cooking is once the this part kind of separate the bone. Once you start seeing the bone, that's like when it's pretty much ready to go.
Yeah. Nice and tender.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a weekend barbecue thing, special events. So you're not doing this all the time. So
Give me an idea.
Here I'm always.
All right, tell us about the second dish.
The second dish is our popular dish is drunken noodles.
Love it. This is one of my favorites too.
So like this sauce is my aunt's recipe. You know, she said
Love that.
she owned a restaurant down in Ohio for many years, and she kind of got out of it. And then she heard that I was opening or trying to open a restaurant. She's like, you know what, I know what Milwaukee has, and y'all need to put this on the menu. And so she handed me the playbook. She gave me her pad thai recipe. She gave me the drunken noodle recipe.
This is by far my favorite drunken noodle to Milwaukee.
Yeah,
No
it's
bullshit.
delicious.
Thank you. Yeah.
Why are they called drunken noodles?
I don't know. I had to look up the history too.
Yeah, it was it's pat kimao, which means like stir fry, like drunkard, right? Drunkard comes from like people being drunk in the streets in Thailand and Laos, and they just eat something very spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And this was their dish, pat kimao, like you drunken bastard food, essentially, right? But yeah.
But yeah, no, it's our popular dish. I mean, the noodles. I think it's all the texture, right? So you get the fresh vegetables in there.
Gluten-free.
And yeah, no, so it's just the freshness of the vegetables. I said for us, everything's made to order, so nothing's sitting in a warmer, and so yeah, that sauce is everything. Everybody's always asking about that sauce, because you can use it as a stir fry sauce. You could just put it in like different dishes. You could put it in different marinades, or use that as a different marinade. And so yeah, who knows? I might start bottling that up and come to a store near you.
Hey, I'll be looking for it. Were you gonna chime in on anything else?
As far as what was the question again about what's your top sellers? So like for me, it's how my palate. I know it's like specific to me, but I also understand like what you're catering towards your demographic, right? I can't. I know our food's like known as being very spicy, but like why the hell would I want to burn someone's tongue off and have them not come back? So like it's for me like flavors all balanced, right? We can incorporate those flavors, but keep it balanced where everyone can enjoy it. Now, if you want it very spicy, then just let us know. It's that simple. But
yeah. Your spice level. What are your spice levels?
That's 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Try to keep it simple. I know some people say 1 to 10. I'm like, that's a big scale, So honestly, if you order 1 at our place, I don't even put a spice in it because it's just it's hot, it's spicy, But again, everybody has a different palate. Everybody has like a different tolerance level. So there's always people like, oh, your 3 is not spicy enough, and I'm like, then you got another review saying, oh my gosh, this is still hot, So
yeah, that's crazy. I was thinking about this today on the ride here, and it's like, are chefs like the most critiqued artists out of all artists, right? Because our stuff is out there all the time, and the thing is like, I get that you weren't happy with the food, but understanding what happened, the process of cooking while you're under pressure and all that. And I think Yelpers these days, or whoever these food reviewers are, really don't have no grasp on what goes behind the line, right? Like, and that's another thing for chefs as being artists too, is like you come up with this idea, you come up with this process for it because all the staff's cooking it, and you're essentially trying to streamline this process where anyone can do it. Now we are human, so we're gonna make mistakes, but back to my point. With I don't know. I just got in the weeds there for a little bit, but
hey, it's all right.
I mean, ultimately, I really feel for restaurateurs right now and these reviewers like bashing small business. Like, if you have an issue, take it up with the owners. Like, don't bash them online because they're already going through enough, And I saw Chef Greg post something today. And he's an amazing chef. I look up to him. He just won this big award, James Beard nomination, like 3 years in a row. And he posted something about like, I just got these big accolades, but now life is harder because everyone thinks he has to like have this perfect meal all the time. And the thing is, like, everyone strives for that, but again, like, we're human and you're dealing with human staff. and I think people should just be a little more understanding in that regard, right? Like,
No, I definitely had to develop that thick skin right away because I remember when we first opened and just reading reviews, it would just eat at me. It would eat at me, and I would take it off on my staff. Like, what are you guys doing? And then after a while, I was like, you know what? No, like you just gotta let it roll off your shoulders. There's some stuff that I would take, too hard, and the other ones I'm just like, no, you can't leave me a bad review because you couldn't find parking. Like that has nothing to do with my establishment. I mean, yeah, it's in the tough area, but like, but yeah, then like I think after the first year, I stopped reading reviews.
Yeah,
But
I've been hearing folks saying that they stop. I guess it's pros and cons. You want to read them and acknowledge some,
Right,
but
right.
sometimes if people are just going so hard for insane reasons, it's like you don't even want to waste the energy
Yep.
to read that and go through the motions again.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like, again, you're not gonna be able to. Everybody's palates are different. So you're not gonna be able to. They just don't like it. It's fine. And that's just what it is. But
you also know what they say, right? Like, you haven't made it until you got your first bad review. And like all these other, we were that, and I learned that the hard way. Like, we're like, oh yeah, like we're killing it, 5-star reviews. Open the restaurant, bam, our first bad review. And I took it so to the heart. I'm like, God damn it, like whatever. And I talked to one of my good friends, Kurt Fogel, and he's like, bro, you just made it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, because you just got your first bad review. Learn to deal with it. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna happen.
Passion there.
Yeah.
So tell me any, I guess, lesser known facts about your culture or the food that might surprise our listeners or a new diner trying out your establishments.
I think you just have to be open minded. You can't come in closed minded and like it's just it's different. It's a different cuisine. So Lao food isn't like as popular as some dishes or some other cultures. But I feel like Lao food is top notch. It brings a lot of people together. I mean, you go to somebody's house, everybody's just enjoying the time and enjoying the food. And yeah, it's different. But so yeah, I never really had a complaint of anybody coming to our home and saying, "Oh, this food's nasty," But like, if you're open minded about it with like the spices and just like the different aromas,
the flavor combinations,
even like so we're talking about sticky rice, like when you walk into a Lao home, you smell somebody just cooked sticky rice, you smell it,
Share a little bit about sticky rice for our listeners who are not familiar.
Alex is the master at it.
We need Ake here. Shout out my guy Ake. But so sticky rice, right? It's a glutinous rice, so that means it has a really high starch content. So when you soak it, there's a lot of milk. Did you ever soak rice before or like rinse it? This again, it has a higher starch content. So when you cook it, you actually steam it. You don't boil in water. You steam it, and that produces like this glutinous like ball where it's not flaky. It doesn't fall apart. You can mold it. Everywhere in Southeast Asia eat sticky rice, right? But they say if like 85% of your diet is sticky rice, you're probably Lao, right? So it's really our like daily bread. We eat it with every meal. We make desserts out of it. We eat it with breakfast, lunch, dinner. But yeah, it's a certain kind of grain of rice, so it has a higher starch profile essentially. So
nice. Yeah. So I heard you all mention pho earlier. Let's dive into that. And
yeah, I mean,
you ready for that one, huh?
Yeah, so much goes into.
I know.
To there's so many techniques, so many styles.
What is your technique?
I went more of the Vietnamese route.
Okay.
Just because I don't know, like say if you go to Vientiane noodles, they have the Lao style, and just the condiments that's on the table. You got your fish sauce, your soy sauce, black pepper, chili pepper, garlic, just everything. It'd be a lot,
It is.
And so I want more. I like, that's how it is at our home. I just remember there's this table. It's just like 20 different things that you could just add to it, But I went more the Vietnamese route, just sriracha and hoisin, whether you want it sweeter, spicier. and just simple, So I had a friend kind of help me tweak the recipe when we first opened, and it just kind of worked out, and
Yeah.
so it's a we go through quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
daily, so we always have two pots going,
Okay.
so one's ready for the next day,
Right.
and but yeah, this is like I said, you got your Thai style, Lao style, there's
Mm-hmm.
different ways, different types of meats. You can use chicken, beef, duck. I remember saying my dad has like high cholesterol, so my mom's like, we're not doing beef
Yeah.
for anymore, so I had to switch to like duck and chicken
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So again, for growing up, it was like I feel like it was like a Sunday
Yeah.
after
for sure.
church kind
Oh,
of
okay.
meal, but now it's just it's so there's like a lot of pho shops popping
Yeah,
up,
it
so like
is.
you just get it,
Yeah.
which is great,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, Alex, he
That is a loaded question for
I
me.
know.
yeah,
I see
he's
you. I see
he's
you
like he's
going.
waiting. He's like,
Your
hey,
No,
gears
well,
going.
he's like telling me,
we
hey,
we started with I was known as the pho guy, right? Our dinners were like primarily based on that dish. I loved it growing up. Again, like he said, it was like this religious thing that you did. Like, um, my dad would get off work on Friday and make pho. We eat it the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like from a technical standpoint, um, the Vietnamese they were foot like let's give all props to Vietnam because that's kind of like their national dish, and it's very true. They put more of an emphasis on the broth, right? So you're
Yep.
cooking the beef longer, you're roasting the bones. Where Lao pho or and what Cambodian pho, they more emphasize on the condiments involved. Me personally, I prefer. I mean, I started liking Viet pho more because like my thing is like if you make the broth good, all the condiments like it's just gonna taste that much better, right? If you just leave it alone, cook it right, and you don't need all those condiments. Now, if you want to add all those condiments on top of a good broth, then even better. But I think the technique is in the process of cooking the broth, which is low and slow. Yeah.
What have been some of your, I guess, most asked about proteins to be, made with the pho?
Uh, for me, we always again we do a Viet style. We actually I do the extra step, and I after the bones get cooked, I take out the bone marrow
Mm.
and I throw it in the bowl. So that's the extra step I take. That's a little different than most restaurants. But no, that's I do brisket, braised brisket, bone marrow, and just like some fresh sirloin for me.
Mhm. I love it.
yeah, that's for me. Yeah, we it's definitely a process. Like our brisket, we cook it down differently. If we braise our brisket for 3 to 4 hours, so it actually cooks. We'll take the full broth. We'll take like the bottom pot for broth,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll add like fresh onions, ginger, and other spices, and then we'll cook it down in it for 3 to 4 hours, and it's just the flavor is just infused into the brisket. But yeah, it's always extra brisket. I don't know. I don't know. I follow some other restaurants. They're throwing like beef, like a whole side of a cow in there, and just lobsters, So it could get crazy out there.
Yeah.
But again, I think simple goes a long way, and just enjoying the dish for what it is.
Right. So we've talked about how much work and effort goes into running a restaurant, running pop-ups, running events. How do you all stay inspired and motivated in an environment that demands so many hours and hard work?
Comparing myself to Sook, again, I don't know how he does it. He's what good 9 years deep. I couldn't do it. Like I once my creativity gets zapped, I shut down and I'm just like, okay, like I don't like this. I'm not gonna touch it no more. And I'm just running on fumes at that point. Um so for me, it's again it goes back to like how can you be creative still, enjoy your passion and be inspired. and that was stepping away from the restaurant, unfortunately, or fortunately for me.
Right.
But no, that's how I stay inspired. If I have time to be creative and just like have your piece, right? Like that's what I want, and that's where I'm most creative, and that's when I can do the best work. And for me, unfortunately, the restaurant where it was very difficult for me to do. And I feel like if I lose my creativity, my ambition, then what's the point? You know.
For me, I think it's like my wife and kids. As the kids, their palates change. So you always want to introduce something new to them, and so that inspires me to bring something new to the restaurant. Just to bring different stuff. I mean, I got like pages full of notes. Enough to open a whole new like 2-3 different restaurants. With different like items. But I think that's really where it comes from. Is just having like a childlike mindset in a way, where you
Right.
just want to be able to like be creative, right? Because you're learning, and like just bring different flavors in together, and just and you get inspiration from like guys like Alex, guys like Jason, just throughout the city, and just like I said, honestly, the power of the internet, social media, everybody's like
Yeah.
That's huge.
bringing stuff out, and you're like, dang, that's good. So then you're like, all right, well, we could put that dish with this dish, and just kind of have it all melt together, and different styles and different like techniques. And
What has been a technique that has been the most challenging for you to master?
Honestly, like chopping vegetables for like an hour straight and like to get a good chiffonade. Like, I mean, techniques are, I mean, it's just like constantly like staying focused on like one like technical thing, right? For me, I hate chopping vegetables for that long. But I guess as far as I wouldn't say difficult, but like I always want to learn new techniques, right? As much shit as we talk about the French for whatever, like I love learning new French techniques, right? Like to that can apply to my cuisine. Everything from like roasting bones to cook it before you're cooking your stock to using fat and rendering it, like all sorts of stuff, incorporating fat into fat's flavor. I'm not saying that's just French, but just there's a culinary school for a reason. You get like these very like technicians at the top of their game teaching you stuff that they learned. So I'm all about learning that information, right? And also applying my information to them as well. So it's just like a shared knowledge collective of chefs. Like, oh, you do it this way? Oh, cool. I never thought about it like that. And yeah, again, like it's you never learn when you have ego. So like I literally threw myself in the abyss of this culture of like fine dining and working with fine dining chefs, and I learned a lot, and they learned a lot from me. And I think that's what makes you a better chef, really.
Right.
for me, I'm just trying to keep stuff out of the fryer, like everything, like the fryer burns all the way to the cholesterol, But just again trying to find different techniques. Sous vide has been like such a super cool technique. Like you can't mess it up. But it's crazy. Like this beet's just sitting in this water, just constantly.
Yeah,
getting cooked.
explain the sous vide process.
It's just
Essentially you're boiling meat in a bag, but it's controlled, right? So like you're breaking down all the proteins, and then you just finish it to your desire. Like so. When I was working at Hometown Sausage Kitchen, they had a big sous vide machine. We boil all the ribs in there. I mean, yeah, it breaks down the proteins and gets it tender. But for me, like, if you take that away, how do you know how to cook a steak? Or how do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy, and I'm all about poly science. But like, at the end of the day, you take that away to a beginner kid that wants to come up in the ranks. Like, I feel like you just have to go through the gauntlet of learning the old school way. Because you take all that science away. Like, do you know how to cook a steak? Do you know how to cook a rib? Like, so I think both are important, but yeah, sous vide is essentially breaking down the proteins to make it easier for you, where you could just finish it on the grill, or however you want to finish it, basically. So it's tender.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna ask. I want to hear about an embarrassing moment. Right after this break.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me me what's your flavor.
Come savor the flavors of Pepper Pot Jamaican cuisine, located at 2215 North MLK Drive. Dive into our lunch menu packed with mouth-watering starters, like our famous Pepper Pot jerk rolls, refreshing salads, and signature rice bowls, bursting with Caribbean flair. But the fun doesn't stop there. Join us for our happy hour from 5 until 8 p.m. every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, featuring irresistible food and drink specials. Don't miss out on the ultimate Jamaican dining experience at Pepper Pot, where you come hungry and you leave happy. For more information, please call 414-509-5206.
Hi, I'm Joel.
And I'm Cherie, and we're the hosts of Respectful Disagreements, where we can't agree on anything.
A show where a conservative black male and a liberal black woman explore and discuss politics, social issues, and current events from their different perspectives.
Through our conversations, we hope to shed light on reasons why we hold our beliefs, how we navigate our differences, and what we have in common despite our opposing views.
We want listeners to engage and be entertained with lively but respectful discussions between individuals with different viewpoints.
So join us every week on Mondays at 7 p.m. as we dive into the topics that matter to us most, and hopefully to you too.
Thanks for tuning in to
Respectful Disagreements.
If you're looking for mouth-watering eats and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind and hang out with your friends? Well, come visit Brownstone Social Lounge, located at 524 North Water Street, Milwaukee's premier downtown social lounge. For good vibes, great music, and delicious food, be sure to try our amazing wings and drink specials during our all-day happy hour on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And that's not all. You can also enjoy happy hour from Thursday to Sunday from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. For more information, please call 414-204-0103. Brownstone Social Lounge.
Imagine, if you will, a wonderland of vehicles. An entire convention center filled with the things you love to drive. It's the Milwaukee Auto Show at the Baird Center downtown, February 24th through March 3rd. Immerse yourself in the latest new cars, new trucks, SUVs, luxury vehicles, classics, and this year, we even have an indoor electric vehicle ride course. It's a wonderland of vehicles. Everything all in one place, all in a non-selling environment. It's a great place to comparison shop. The Milwaukee Auto Show. Save big on tickets. Go to autoshowmilwaukee.com.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? No. Tell me what's your flavor.
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, and we're back on Flavor Fix. How y'all doing? Been enjoying this so far?
Yes.
We were just saying that time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it's gonna fly faster than-
We got a special shout out, Sook.
I got shout out my wife. I've been getting bullied over here by the
We just trying to
team,
we looking out for you, man.
Yeah, no, she's home. She's holding the fort down with the kids. 4 kids at home. It's a lot. So it's one of those other things you gotta master. It's the work-life balance. And it's definitely tough with with work and trying to spend time with your wife. And also spend time with your kids. So shout out to my wife for allowing me to come down here. And thanks. Okay. Thanks, Debo. Debo's yeah.
All right, we get it. We get it.
Thanks, Debo. Thanks,
Why were you trying so hard, Sue? Why were you trying so hard?
Doghouse.
So before we went to break, I asked about embarrassing moments. You wanna share anything? You got
I
something for us?
personally don't get embarrassed.
Oh, you don't get
No, I
embarrassed.
don't.
Okay.
But I'm kidding. No, I do get embarrassed, but no, I think it's my staff probably has more embarrassing moments than I do. Just because our kitchen's right there in the open.
Yeah.
And I think
Which is a concept that I absolutely love.
Yep. So yeah, you see everything
Being able
going
to
down.
see everything.
Yep. So ain't no, so we just like so we like to have a good time. But I have to say 90% of my staff at the end of the night has slipped and fallen on the floor where there's wet floor signs everywhere, but they will bite the dust and that floor has claimed many bodies and and I've got security footage of it and I will post it and that's probably top embarrassing moments at Lucky Ginger is
the slips.
Yep, the
slip
slips.
ups.
Yeah.
So, gotta be careful. Gotta be quicker. What about you?
For me, it was probably our Wisconsin foodie episode. We had a whole camera crew for our Loud Barbecue event on national television, and chaos ensued in the back of the house. It was nuts. Shout out to Luke Zam for stepping in, but like the chaos behind a crazy event like that. We were feeding 100 people, and then proceeding from that, I had to give this big speech in front of everyone and talk about the dinner. And my mom was standing right there, and I was trying so hard not to tear up, and I was like. And everyone just stared at me like I'm like, oh my god, like this is not happening right now, right? And thank God they cut it out. But if you were at the Loud Barbecue for Wisconsin Foodie, there was a lot of chaos that happened, but it was also such a special event. So shout out to Arthur from Wisconsin. Behind the scenes, just the constant pressure of like constantly cranking out food for 100 people, right? It was like 100 degrees out too. And just seeing a camera crew see our chaos. I was like, crap, like we don't look very professional right now, right? But at the end of the day, that's like what happens with such events. Like nothing goes according to plan. You always try to minimize mistakes, but at the end of the day, you can't control it all, but you try your best to plan it. But yeah, the chaos was like the communication in the back of the house, the speech I did, and almost crying on national television. And the funny thing is, my mom just stared at me like, "What the hell are you crying for?" Like, and then she wanted to go home afterwards. Like, I'm tired. I'm like, "Mom, this is for you," And she's an old disgruntled lady, but want to go home and watch her soap operas.
I love it. So I want to know, what is a fun fact or an industry secret? It could be behind the scenes, kitchen. It could be anything, really.
The back of the house. Well, it's different for him because you got an open kitchen.
Yeah.
The back of the house can be very inappropriate. And I had to
Look
check
at his face.
a few of them sometimes. But
I
I wouldn't say it's a secret, but like when shit hits the fan, I'm sorry, I'm swearing a lot. When stuff hits the fan, it gets crazy back there, right? And it's really like just keep your calm under the pressure. Like that's the secret for me, and what I experienced in my time is like they're gonna get the food anyways. Like don't panic,
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, you just don't panic. It's overwhelming, right? But you just gotta carry the team. Just get everybody back in line. With just one ticket at a time is what it really comes down to. But yeah, for us, it being an open kitchen, like you can't hide it.
Yeah.
When you see that stress,
challenge for
that's a lot of pressure, especially for the folks sitting at the bar.
Right.
Them cook, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I guess after being in the kitchen, you just built for it now. Whether it's slow or busy, you just one ticket at a time is kind of how you get through it.
So how do you keep that energy with your staff and that momentum and that smoothness for executing throughout a busy service day?
You just gotta put that face on, and then
that game face.
Yeah, because like once they see the leaders like falling and nervous, it literally is like all about leadership. If the head chef or me, like I have an issue with this, like you can see my anxiety, you can see me stressed out. but I've learned to like when stuff gets crazy, just if you're calm and you're direct and calm and assertive with your crew, like they're gonna be calm, right?
Mhm.
So you're legit the leader, and
Yep.
you have to maintain that energy for your staff so they don't freak out.
Mhm.
Yeah. So for me, I'm in the kitchen on the weekends, so I'm not there.
Mhm.
So I got a team that's there that holds it down. So shout out to my chef. He holds it down. He's a smooth character, and like
Mhm.
so many customers that sit at the bar, they'll look at him and they'll say, "We can tell you made this with love," and
Mhm.
he does. So he definitely holds it down, and
Mhm.
and he does a lot. But yeah, you'll never see him flinch. He's just, all right, we got this, and then he has that side, and you got the guys on the walk side. Those guys just banging away on the walk, you know.
Yeah, I could say from even like being a line cook before, like it's so crucial to see your leader like lead you. I've had like crazy chefs before that I worked under that would freak the fuck.
Ooh.
that would really get upset and not control themselves, right? And that would get me nervous.
You just sent everybody's blood pressure
I'm
out.
sorry,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
So, but let me repeat that. Then. No, yeah.
No F-bombs.
If your leader is calm, like the staff's gonna be calm anyway. So,
yeah. Oh, that was interesting background. So I want to talk a little bit about, you have some exciting things coming up that you want to share, events.
Yeah.
What does that look like? A
we're
new
gonna-
business model too, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do. So I can't quite share the business model yet.
Okay.
But we're gonna be doing an event at Amorphic Brewing. We did
Mhm.
one there this past Saturday, and it's gonna be for Lao New Year,
Mm.
April 13th, at Amorphic Brewing in River West. We haven't even like put out the event yet, but it's gonna be. This is the first time anyone's hearing about it, but I can't get in detail yet. But no, it's gonna be a big event. So I hopefully all you guys can come. We'll take care of you
Mhm.
guys with food. So come on through.
We can't
and-
have a date. Here a date. Did you share? the
April
date?
13th.
Oh, April
Yeah,
13th.
Lao New Year. Yep.
Okay, April 13th.
I have nothing. I'm boring. I'm a father. I got kids. I got a mortgage. No, I'm always thinking of stuff in the background. Trust me. I'm always I have a lot of ideas, but the time to execute is tough. But at the end of the
Mhm.
night, you just want to go to bed.
Right.
But I should be up, and I should be trying to come up with stuff. But it's
And it's all good. There's nothing wrong with that.
right. So it's all in my head, just to get out on paper. So I
Mhm.
mean, I jot notes down, and
Well, you got cool guys like Alex who can help you bring some of those visions to life.
I'm a special events guy. I'm not a restaurateur like him. So like I can't I know what he's been through, and I
Mhm.
envy him. It's crazy what they do.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a time will come,
Oh, yeah.
and so I'll be here for a while. So I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. If anything, it'll just be some new products and just making myself more available to
Mhm.
people that can't get down to Lucky Ginger.
Right.
So yeah, we'll see.
What do you think is missing in our culinary scene here
In Milwaukee?
in Milwaukee?
Man, honestly, I was down in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and they had like some pretty cool stuff. It was like so like speakeasies. So you got live music, and just great cocktails, great food.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, like Chicago's very inspiring. And just the culture is different. Just going an hour, away and just seeing how things are ran down there. But it'd be nice to be able to have some of that culture up here as
Mhm.
well. And I feel like Milwaukee is growing and heading in that direction, as like a small foodie
Mhm.
city that's
Absolutely.
really, really coming along, and I'm like proud to be a part of it. Yeah.
Anything come to mind for you, Alex?
I think talent wise, as far as food, I think we're there, right? Like I think we have an amazing core of chefs in Milwaukee that I look up to, that I'm inspired by. But I one thing that's missing for me, I go down to Chinatown to eat a lot, and there's not much like dim sum here, right? Like I love Chinatown's food scene because there's more traditional dishes there.
Right.
You have Szechuan that's coming up, but it's still not Chicago's
Mm-hmm.
Chinese scene. Me, I want more traditional Asian food here versus,
Okay.
but talent wise and like creativity wise and like just like all that, I think we're there, and I think it's gonna get better too. But me, at the end of the day, I want a taco and I want some dim sum,
Mm-hmm.
and
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple, simple. So when you're not working and you get that couple hours to go dine and go out with your family, where do you like to go?
Ooh. I mean, so like myself, after getting the restaurant going in the morning, I always try to spend like time to myself. I get like the 1 hour window before I have to get home,
Right.
So I always stop at like Fixture Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
It's Walker's Point. They just have great food. Don't sleep on their wings. Their wings are really good too.
Really, I never had their
Yeah,
wings.
we actually had Fixture last night. So my bartender, she paid for dinner last night. So we ordered
Lucky
Fixture Pizza.
you.
Yeah, yeah. So Fixture's a spot. I always for Viet on 27th and Grange. Outside of eating pho at my place, that's my other
Mm-hmm.
like go-to spot just to get like a quick bowl of pho.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love the steak out in Greendale. Again, these are like stuff
Yeah.
on my way home.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
steakhouse right down the block. I always grab like a prime rib, lunch special. And they know their meats. They know their steaks. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they've been around for a minute. So Chef Bob out there like holds it down.
Right.
So those are just some of the few places for myself.
What about you?
I am so simple. Like me and Nicole, we love El Cabrito. Have you been there before?
I haven't been there.
It's
Where's that at?
it's on the south side. It's right off it's right by the UCC there. I forget what street it's on, but it's crazy to me too. Like there's so many Mexican restaurants in like concentration to each other, and they're all busy, right? But El Cabrito, man, look it up. I
Okay.
don't know the exact address, but
Okay.
I say El Cabrito. She says say less. She says El Cabrito. I say less. We're gonna go there. It's that good.
What's your favorite dish?
You know what? Honestly, I love their beans, their refried beans. But
Okay.
they're I'm simple. I get their tacos and the rice and beans. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been around for a while and they just do very good Mexican food. I don't even know how many other good places there are, and I'm sure there's a lot, but I'm just so busy stuck here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I also like Azteca food truck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right off
Mhm.
college too. I'll get like the tripe taco, the tongue tacos. So like
Mm.
yeah,
hardcore, huh?
yeah,
Why not, man?
yeah. No, so I think like my wife's side of the family, they're like, "Man, you're more Mexican than I am," because I like to eat like the traditional foods.
Mhm.
So yeah.
What are some of your? So I asked this question a couple weeks ago. Comfort foods or like your midnight snack. What is that? Do you have those? Those.
Mine is the instant noodle. Me and my mom, like me and like any Laos home will have me and my mom a box of it too. It's just the smell. You recognize the smell when you cook it.
Mhm.
And that's my late night comfort food is instant noodles.
So I fast a lot,
Okay.
right? And I'm trying to like eat healthier, but when that hunger kicks in, whatever's in the refrigerator. But I would say this: if you got fried chicken in the house, like doesn't matter what diet I'm on, I'm gonna tear it up. It's hard, stay away from
Yeah.
that stuff. I don't know. With sticky rice soup,
Yeah. Yep. So
that's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So tell me a little bit about, or give me a piece of inspiration or encouragement for folks aspiring to get into the restaurant industry or the culinary world in general, not necessarily into a restaurant, but themselves, but taking that leap, taking that step, um, anything that you want to share that, has been important or pivotal for you along the way.
I think my biggest thing is again don't listen to the doubters.
Mhm.
They're gonna doubt you, but they don't know what your talent is.
Right.
Don't let them crush your dreams or your aspiration to do whatever just because they're not on the same page. You know, they might have different ideas than you, and just because it's not what they're thinking, don't let that like stop you from doing what you want to do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm opposite from him. I'll tell them not to do it. But if you're really that stubborn, work a kitchen. Don't go there blindly. Like get your
Mhm.
reps in. You're gonna have to wash dishes. You're gonna have to line cook. You're gonna have to prep. You're gonna hate your job. But
Mhm.
if you're that down, that'll show you like okay, like you're built for this. But
Mhm.
you get a lot of kids that want to be a chef, but don't go through the trials and tribulations. Right? They
Mhm.
go into it blindly. They make a lot of mistakes, like me,
Mhm.
and they're burnt out. And being a chef is a cool thing and all, but like, man, it is tough. It is a lot of work because you're doing more than just creating dishes and cooking.
Mhm.
You are managing staff. You're paying the bills. You're dealing with the public. It's a lot for one person to handle, right? So,
Mhm.
I guess if you want to go that route, take your licks and work in a busy kitchen. Get that repetition and get that experience in, because that's the only way you know that this is what you're gonna deal with if you're gonna go in this endeavor. So get that
Mhm.
experience in for real.
It's really not that bad, y'all. Don't listen to Alex. It's not that bad. Once you get in your routine, it's fun. Like say if you make it fun, it's gonna be all right. It's a headache, but
Mhm.
honestly, if you're passionate about it, like
But here's another thing though, you don't have to be in the restaurant world. Like
Right. Right.
I'm doing it without being in the restaurant. I had a restaurant, but like it wasn't for me. But you can make money off catering. You can make money off private events. There's so much to food than just opening a restaurant. So yeah, I mean, aspire if you love food. It doesn't always have to be restaurant related, right?
Mhm.
So
That education piece, and that some people take different paths. Some people go to culinary school, some people don't. Any, I guess, pieces of advice around that if they don't take the schooling route, but obviously jumping into the kitchen.
that's
And
funny
I've
you
been
say that. Yeah.
yeah. What do you?
I mean, it depends what the food you want to cook. Why would I go to culinary school when I'm making Lao food? Why am I learning French and Italian food when I had my parents and my aunties and my grandmas show me what it was versus
Mm,
going to a French school learning how to confit duck or whatever?
mm,
But if you want to do that, yeah, then go to culinary school. But if you have the knowledge in your backyard, just refine it, you
right.
know. Um, but I get it, like, they teach you like certain techniques, but I'm never gonna make duck confit in my restaurant
Mhm.
and pay and be in debt.
Mhm.
These are just facts. So, like, I'm
No,
not
yeah.
knocking anyone, but if I'm gonna do Lao food, why am I gonna go to a French school to learn that? You know,
Mhm.
or like soul food or Mexican food. Like, why would you go to a French school to learn that? And I guess, but if you want to like learn, I mean, I'm so like I'm so negative right now. But I mean, it can't hurt, right? But it's like,
Mhm.
what do you really want to do? That's the question. If you know what you want to do, if you want to do fine dining, definitely go to CIA or the French Culinary Institutes. But we didn't have the money growing up,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to cook French food or Italian food. So
Right. What does mentorship look like in the culinary industry?
I'm sorry.
my mentors were actually like old CIA fine dining people, right?
Mm.
And they're the ones that told me, they're like, why the hell do you want to go to culinary school? Like you're cooking Lao
Mhm.
food. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it made me think, and it made perfect sense.
Mhm.
Why would I go to culinary school to learn my own cooking that I know already? I get like there's parts of like math and like you're doing your books and all that, which is great.
Right.
It's all knowledge, but for people like us that couldn't afford it, it doesn't make sense at the end of the day, Like
I don't know. I always want to go to culinary school. Like
Yeah.
I still would if I had the opportunity. I should say the opportunity. If I had the time to go to culinary school,
Mhm.
I would. Again, that's just to learn again techniques. Yeah, I grew up in the house just cooking. I'm always, I grill on the weekends. Stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's just self taught. But there's always room to gain knowledge, right? So like I'm not gonna say don't go to school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For me, I wish I had time to go to school. So uh, if school's the career choice or the career path you want to go, like
Yeah, no, true.
go.
Like if I had the resources to go to school and not have to pay for it, like
Right.
I always want to learn, but like it's what you can do versus reality, right? Or what you want to do versus reality. And I couldn't afford culinary school.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to cook any other food than my own food.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't make any sense.
But yeah, honestly, the best way to learn is to jump in.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'll be able to get into a kitchen at different restaurants and learn just how to get down like that. I think that's the best way to learn as well is to be on the line and just to see the pressure. But it's not made for everybody.
Right. Right.
Like for myself, I have a new cook on the line. She's 18, just graduated high school. But to see her just grow from when she first started to where she is now, she holds it down.
Oh my gosh,
she holds it down. I don't know how she does. She has her hoodie up, and she's on the grill and fireside, and she's just smooth. Like the girls, the servers are like, "Hey, where's this?" She's like, "It's coming out. Don't worry, it's coming out." And like she holds it down, and I told her the other day, and I was like, "Wow, the growth that I've seen in her, and whether she stays here or whether she wants to go." Pursue culinary school. I support her. But right now she's learning that life is going to be challenging, and but she holds it down.
Yeah. Who are some folks that you all look up to or who have, I guess, an impact on your life in the culinary industry?
I'd have to say again my buddy Angel. We went to high school together, and he, and he started in a dish room, and he worked his way up. So he became exec chef over at what is that? One of the Barlotta restaurants on the lake. What is it called?
Harbor
House. Yeah. So he worked his way up from doing dishes to exec chef there, exec chef at Pfizer. Now he's over at Loopy and Iris. So and so he was a homie that we grew up. My dad picked him up every morning. We rolled to school together. So he inspires me, and we always hang out every now and then. So yeah, that's one of the guys. My dad as well. My dad does all the cooking at home, like growing up. So whatever he made at lunch, that's what we ate for dinner, when we were at school, So and then my mom would cook on the weekends. So it was always like a team effort. But yeah.
What about you, Alex?
As far as like chef, he doesn't I don't give him enough credit, but it'd be Chef Tori Miller out of Madison. James Beard Award winner, just an amazing, talented chef, but also like a very inspiring one in the sense of he put me on when I was living in Madison. Like he had all these accolades. He was the best chef in Wisconsin at the time, and for me, he's like one of my favorites. But he, for some reason, like I was selling egg rolls. I'm like, who wants egg rolls? And here goes Chef Tori Miller. Like, I want some, bring some, I'll pay for them. I'm like, holy crap, that's Chef Tori Miller.
Yeah.
And then we formed this bond, and he started carrying all my products. But just by him, just like helping out someone that was not even known, right? And Tori, if you're out there listening, like much appreciated. Definitely love that you looked out for someone small like me, and that kind of like birthed like our network really was through him.
Yeah, I love that. Are you doing catering right now at all?
We're accepting it. We're not really pushing it because like all these private events are
Okay.
We're focusing on that.
Okay.
But as far as catering, we are going to have something up on our website for it. But we're not like saying, hey, we're catering right now. We're just more focusing on these pop-ups right now.
Okay. Lucky Gingers, you cater.
We do some catering,
doing
yeah.
some
Depending
catering,
on like the size of the
Yeah.
event and whatnot.
Right.
We don't. Our kitchen is
Yeah.
is what it is, So we try to do what we can to accommodate parties and events and whatnot. So yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Samantha's fine. Samantha. It's been fun. So I have to come to Lucky Ginger soon because I haven't been there in a while.
Yes,
so
please.
They'll see me. You'll see me soon, I'm sure. Okay. I'm gonna try to probably go with Kanisha because she commented on the post and she's like, "This is gonna have to be our next dinner date."
Yeah,
so I'll drag her with me.
Yeah, she's there. She's if it's not once a month, then we worry, you know. So we typically see her three times a month.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing more of your collaborations and events popping up in the city and all the good things.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
All right, thank you all for tuning in on Flavor Fix on WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM The Voice. See you next week.
Time for new flavor. Yeah.